We're about a year and a half into the volatile 2024 draft class's NBA career. So today, I'm going to regrade this draft class. And this is going to be me regrading what they've done so far, I think based on the production they have shown throughout their very short NBA careers. And these guys could definitely go on some types of run in the second half this year. And we could change our opinions on how they may look long term. So yeah, we're going to be grading them based on the results they've shown us so far. And let me know, like always, what you agree with, what you disagree with. Let's get into this. So we're going to start off with the #1 overall pick, Zachary Reese-Shea. It's got to hurt some Hawks fans when they look at like the #1 pick draft history in the NBA. In 2020, you see Anthony Edwards, 2021 Cade, 22 Paolo, 2023 Wemby, 2025 Cooper Flag, but right there 2024, Zachary Reese-Shea, it definitely does not hit the same. So far, his production though, I'm giving it a C, and that might honestly be generous. Now, I remember Reese-Shea got off to a slow start in his rookie season, but he honestly looked like a top 3 rookie from like December to April last year. But for the expectations he has as a #1 overall pick, which is unfair to him, but he was the #1 overall pick at the end of the day, he's definitely been somewhat underwhelming so far. Reese-Shea this year is kind of down across the board in all major statistics. He averaged 12.5 points as a rookie. He finished runner-up to Stephon Castle in the Rookie of the Year voting. He was on All-Rookie First Team, but this year, that has gone down to 10.8 points per game. He's shooting 45% from the field, 33% from 3, 65% from the free throw line, and not really getting to the free throw line whatsoever because it feels like it's a 3-point shot attempt or bust when you're watching Reese-Shea. He's not been as aggressive or as much as a downhill attacker that you would like him to be for somebody that's about 6'8". That was the #1 overall pick. That is a great wingspan and really showed flashes in the second half last year. And I thought with maybe Trae Young being healthier this year, and that hasn't really been the case so far, Reese-Shea would be able to be more involved and get better looks, and that's not been the case. He's also not looked that great as a defender. I thought there were some great flashes last year with the on-ball defensive help. This year, though, more so as an on-ball defender, I haven't really loved what I've seen so far. He's getting beat a ton. He looks physically outmatched a ton as well when he's getting back down or just anything going on around the rim. So yeah, like I said, this could be generous. You may actually have this somewhat in the D's so far since he was the #1 overall pick. But I just want to remember how much I did enjoy watching Reese-Shea a year ago, and this year it's been around a 40-game sample. Last year we got to see mostly 50 good games out of Reese-Shea, so I'm giving it a C right now. It could definitely go either way over the next half part of year #2. I feel like we've all just had the same childhood. Would you just want to collect cards non-stop? You would open up the cards throughout the packs, you put them in your laminated binder, and you would just think it's the coolest thing ever. You would maybe trade some of the cards with your friends at school. You would maybe just try to play some different games with the cards you had throughout different sports. And that's why I think Arena Club is so cool, because they're making the card buying process so much easier. It's a seamless transition to the digital packs that start at just $25, but they are real graded cards. It just makes it so much easier. And there's different drops and different packs that just make it so interesting to just follow the cards in your showroom and see what your friends have as well in Arena Club. And you just get that childhood nostalgia of opening packs right in front of you again. And here I am opening up a gold slab pack, and you can see like how entertaining this is right in front of you. And I land a Michael Jordan 1998 Topps Chrome card. That adds to my LeBron collection as well. So I've opened 2 slab packs here in Arena Club, and I get a Michael Jordan and a LeBron James. It's kind of fitting, right? So it also gives you that offer right away, which is nice. It gives you the estimated value and how much they would actually offer you right now, but you don't have to decide right away. You have 24 hours to do so you could add it to your showroom. And how fitting is that? My first 2 cards here in Arena Club, LeBron and Jordan. And it's not just basketball packs that you can open as well. Football, Pokemon, soccer, baseball, even a multi-sport pack as well. And then they have their own marketplace, and there's some cards that you think you can get in at a good value as well. And you can get started with the link in the description and my code SROS at arenaclub.com/SROS. You can see it on your screen now to get 20% off your first slab pack or a card. That's arenaclub.com/SROS. Link is in the description and the pinned comment below. And thank you again to Arena Club for sponsoring today's video. And coming in at #2, the Washington Wizards selected Alex Sarr out of Perth. We had French prospects go 1 and #2. And for Sarr so far, I'm going to give this one an A. Reese-Shea was definitely better than Sarr on the offensive end throughout their rookie seasons, but Sarr has just taken such a massive leap in year #2. He shot 39% from the field last year because he was taking way too many threes and ill-advised shots around the rim. This year, that has got up to 49.9%. from the field. He's shooting 35.8% from three, up about 5 percentage points from last year. He's up about 8 percentage points on his 2-point shot attempts as well. He's shooting around 70% from the free throw line. If he can unlock that part of his game and just want to absorb contact more, he can average 20 points per game as early as next year. He's up to 17.5 points per game. 2.4 blocks. Actually, don't look now, but by all qualified players, he's actually leading the league in blocks because Wemby has missed a decent amount of time this year. He's averaging 7.8 rebounds, up from 6.5 last year. He's averaging 3 assists, up from 2.5 last year as well. He's having really good games on a night-to-night basis. He just outplayed Paolo Banchero when they beat the Orlando Magic the other day, where he had 5 blocks and 23 points and shot 50% from the field and 40% from three. Sarr was my #1 prospect going into this draft, and I said, you know what? He might not be the best guy right away because he didn't really play a ton at Perth in 2024. He was coming off the bench, but I knew like on that back half of the rookie contract, he was going to look really good, and it's honestly hit us quicker than I thought. Sarr has been one of the best players from this draft class in year #2, so I have to give it an A. Still just 20 years old. Coming in at #3, we had Reed Sheppard to the Houston Rockets. Reed barely played in his rookie year. The Rockets shocked everybody when they were the 2 seed in the Western Conference. They took the leap in 2025 after being a 41-41 team in 2024, and it was tough for Reed Sheppard. Usually rookie guards struggle to get acclimated, at least right away. It's a different beast when you play at the NBA level. They tend to be a little bit more inefficient, and that's what Reed Sheppard prided his game on. He was just like the most efficient guy in college basketball in 2024 at Kentucky, but he had a quick leash under Ime Udoka. 1 turnover, 1 missed read, 1 missed three-pointer. He may be pulled off the court and onto the bench for the rest of the night. But now after Fred VanVleet tore his ACL, they traded away Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks for Kevin Durant. They needed Reed Sheppard to step up, and he stepped up this year. Now, there's still the limitations defensively for Reed Sheppard, but what I've seen offensively this year, I got to give this pick an A-. 45% from the field on about 10.5 shots a night, 41% from three on 6 attempts a night, about 78% from the free throw line. He's averaging 13 points, 3.5 assists, and 3 rebounds. I don't know if Reed Sheppard is going to be like a pure point guard in this league, but honestly, with the volatility that this draft class had on the night of the 2024 draft, that's proving us more right by the day. I think you take that 100%. You can give this a B+ as well, but I'm going to go A- for Reed Sheppard. I think he's really stepped up with his big-time shot making in what feels like his actual real rookie season. Last year just feels like a throwaway year. And coming in at #4, the San Antonio Spurs selected Stephon Castle out of UConn. This one is getting an A+. I have to give it the best grade out of anybody so far. Stephon Castle won Rookie of the Year last year and was definitely the best rookie, but I did see 28% from three, 42% from the field, 72% from the free throw line, and I was worried about year #2 given his efficiency in year #1. He's looked so good so far as a sophomore, even with De'Aaron Fox, even with Dylan Harper into the fold. He's averaging 18 points per game, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and he is shooting 48% from the field, thankfully, because the 3-point shot has actually got him worse. 27% from three, 73% from the free throw line, but he does have a positive true shooting percentage at around 57.5% because he's been so good around the rim this year. He's shooting 57% on twos, getting to the free throw line 6 times a night for a sophomore at 21 years old is super impressive. There's no sophomore of the year award, but it might end up going to Stephon Castle. It'd probably be him or Alex Sarr, but given that Castle was the best rookie, won Rookie of the Year, was a lot better than Sarr as a rookie, and I think they're pretty much even in year #2. I got to give the nod to Castle here as the best player so far from this draft class, so I'm giving this pick an A+. Coming in at #5, we have Ron Holland out of the G League Ignite to the Detroit Pistons. Ron Holland really couldn't shoot whatsoever in the G League Ignite, but was one of the top high school recruits, was actually going to go to Texas, decommits, and goes to the G League Ignite. Not sure if that was the right decision in hindsight, but hey, he still ended up being the 5th overall pick. He was actually the #2 high school recruit in that 2023 class, behind Isaiah Collier, who we'll get to later in this video. But Ron Holland so far in year #2 is averaging around 8 points, 4 rebounds, about assist and a half a night, but a steal and a half a night as well. I'm going to give this one a B. Now, I've been a little bit underwhelmed about Ron Holland's offense so far in his career. He has not been a good 3-point shooter whatsoever. So you know what? Maybe be more like Stephon Castle, be super efficient around the rim, get to the free throw line about 5 times a night. That's not really happening in Detroit right now, but I do love Ron Holland's defense with the Pistons. He fits their style of play under JB Bickerstaff so well, being out there with Asar Thompson, being out there with Marcus Sasser, Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, some really good defenders over there in Detroit, who are the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they have a positive 9 net rating when he is on the court. They are good when he's out there because he's going to dive for loose balls. He's going to switch over guys defensively, and he's just going to be a good transition defender as well. And that's exactly what Detroit needs. So maybe he's not the flashiest offensive player. That's why I'm not putting this in the A's, because he does have a 50% true shooting, which is well below league average. I just think the defense is that good, and he's still just 20 years old. Okay, maybe this one is going to be not generous enough to Tidjane Salaün, who went 6th overall to the Charlotte Hornets. I still don't think this is the right pick in hindsight, but I would be lying if I said Tidjane Salaün wasn't having a good sophomore year. Salaün has definitely taken some strides, so I'm going to give it a C. I think this was an F rookie season. I think it's been like a maybe A- year number 2. Salaün this year, it's still low volume. He's still only playing 16 minutes a night, but in 22 games, he's shooting 45% on threes on about 2.5 a night and 52% from the field. He's averaging roughly 7 points, 4 rebounds a night. Still looks lost out there, I would say, at times defensively, but you have to be encouraged because right now you're kind of looking at his rookie year as like this year. This feels like his first real year at the NBA level, and last year he was just like a JV guy brought up to varsity. It had to be such a big culture change for him going from Cholet in France to the Charlotte Hornets, who haven't been the most functional organization over the last decade. But the Hornets have been exciting offensively this year, and Salaün has been a small part of that as well. We're all talking about Miller, LaMelo, Diabate maybe, and obviously Con Knipple, but I'd say Salaün has actually looked the part somewhat here in year number 2. If I made this like 3 weeks ago, maybe this would have been a C-, a D+, maybe even as low as a D, and he's currently dealing with an ankle injury right now, but I'd say it's been more good than bad in year number 2. So I'm bringing this up to that C. Coming in at number 7, probably the pick maybe Charlotte should have made in hindsight, but maybe they're fine with Salaün right now. Donovan Clingan, Stephon Castle's teammate out of UConn, goes to the Portland Trailblazers. I'm giving this pick an A as well. Maybe this is also a little bit too generous. I thought about A-, the same as Reed Shepherd, but I think Clingan's impact goes a lot further than what the box score shows us. I think he's been a great rim protector for the Blazers so far, and was also a good rookie, and I think has been an even better sophomore. Last year, trying to split time out there with Robert Williams and DeAndre Ayton, he averaged about 6.5 points, 8 rebounds, really didn't start games for Portland till after the All-Star break. This year, though, Donovan Clingan, low-key, is actually turning into a good floor spacing 5. He's shooting 34.5% from 3 on about 3 attempts a night. He's shooting 54.5% from the field. He's shooting about 65% at the rim for a big, which you'll take for somebody that's going to take some threes. He's actually leading the NBA by all qualified players in offensive rebounds. 4.5 a night, 11 points, 11 rebounds a night, 2 assists, about a block and a half. This is a franchise center in Portland, 21 years old. He's a really impactful defender out there, and he's 7'2". As long as he can stay healthy, he could be an all-defensive member very, very soon. So I'm giving this one an A. Man, I don't know what to say about this one so far. Like, I could say it's an F, and I might end up going with that. Yeah, Rob Dillingham to the Minnesota Timberwolves at number 8. You know what? Maybe if they just selected him at number 8, but the fact that they traded a 2030 unprotected swap and a 2031 unprotected first to San Antonio to get Rob Dillingham makes this maybe drop from a D to an F, because now you gave up future draft capital, something you really didn't have much of because you gave up a ton of draft capital for Rudy Gobert. Now you gave up what little you had left for Rob Dillingham, who's being outplayed by Bones Highland this year. Bones Highland was an afterthought. It was a cast off by a couple other teams over the last few years, and he's actually found himself a nice home in Minnesota. And Rob Dillingham hasn't looked good as a defender, has not looked good offensively in the half court, has not looked good shooting the ball from 3 or getting to the rim whatsoever. He's averaging 3.7 points this year, 1.9 assists in about 30 games, 10 minutes a night, 34% from the field, 34% from 3, and he's kind of just fallen out of this rotation. He'll get like 6 minutes a night, he'll get 11 minutes a night, 5 minutes a night here and there, and most of the time, it's garbage time. It's the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter if the Timberwolves are blowing like the Bulls or the Wizards or the Miami Heat out. So yeah, I'm definitely disappointed with Dillingham's game so far. This might just be a sunk cost in Minnesota. Like I said, being outplayed by Bones Highland, a team that wants to win the NBA Finals this year. It would not shock me if Rob Dillingham gets traded this year at the deadline and maybe just needs a change of scenery. Okay, so hear me out for this one. I'm going to give Zach Edey to the Memphis Grizzlies an A-. Now, if you want to go based off production, this should be an A, maybe even close to an A+. But the thing that scares me with Zach Edey, the health, right? Somebody that is 7'3", 305 pounds, that missed 16 games as a rookie, that had foot surgery this offseason, so we got off to a late start, and is already dealing with ankle issues. That's what scares me a little bit. And Edey, unlike Clingan and Sarr and some of these other bigs, is already 23, almost 24 years old. He will be 24 in May, but he's been super productive. Like I said, he was 5th in Rookie of the Year voting last year, averaging 9 points and 8 rebounds. This year, 13.5 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks a night. This is A+ production, but it's just such a small sample size. It's only 11 games, so I don't want to be too heavy on the recent games there and give this an A+, not really looking at the bigger picture going forward. I want to see more of Edey and Ja and Triple J out there together, but him dealing with these ankle issues where he's going to be out till at least mid part of January, maybe even further, I just don't know where to grade it going forward. So Edey, A-. It's a really positive grade after drafting a 22-year-old that I thought had a high floor. I thought this was a little bit of a reach on draft night. I'm looking wrong for that take right now just because I thought there was a limited ceiling. Maybe he's going to surpass that limited ceiling. He just needs to stay healthy. That's what's holding it back from an A or an A+. So unfortunately, I have to have my second F here in the top 10. Wow, Tidjane Salaün really graduated from this F tier because it was Salaün, Dillingham, and this guy as well. But yeah, Cody Williams is another F here in the top 10, unfortunately. Cody Williams is 21 years old. He's averaging 3.9 points, 1.3 rebounds, shooting 40% from the field, 13% from 3, 58% from the free throw line, less than an assist a night, steal a night, block a night in year number 2. Now, Cody Williams has strung together some good games as of late, so I'm keeping an eye on him. He had a good game against Portland, a solid outing against Golden State, and a solid outing against the Clippers. So maybe he is finding a stride right now with Ace Bailey out. But the one thing that scares me about Cody Williams in Utah, as he was selected 10th overall, so he is making about $6 million next year. That option already got picked up. $7.7 million in 2028. Not a guarantee that gets picked up. And they're going to be bringing in more young talent, you would think. They already drafted Ace Bailey. Keontae George is breaking out. They still have to figure out what they have in Sensabaugh, the guards, and Clayton and Collier, Taylor Hendricks as well. Are they going to continue to prioritize Cody Williams' development? And if he doesn't have a breakthrough sooner than later, is he just going to be an afterthought in Utah? Maybe he's a guy that should have stayed in college another year. Who knows going forward, right? But hopefully these recent games make me want to give this something higher down the line. But just what we've seen mostly throughout his first like 65 games, 68 games before this recent stretch, it's been mostly an F so far. He looks lost out there. But like I said, I'm really hoping this works out in Utah. So at number 11, Matas Buzelis. I'm going to give this one an A to the Chicago Bulls. I thought Matas Buzelis was going to go 5th on draft night. There's an aging connection with the Detroit Pistons. Maybe they would have liked Buzelis in hindsight. Maybe they're good with their guy Ron Holland, but Chicago made the right pick here at number 11. Holland's teammate out of the G League Ignite looked like one of the more exciting rookies in the second half last season. He finishes 7th overall in Rookie of the Year voting, and this year so far he's picking up where he left off, about 14.5 points, 5 rebounds, 1.7 assists a night, 1.3 blocks a night, 48% from the field, 35% from 3, about 78% from the free throw line on 3 attempts a night. There's so much encouraging parts of Matas' game, given that he's 21 years old. He's 6'8". He has crazy athleticism, crazy bounce, a really good wingspan. He can get to the rim. He likes to feel contact around the rim and get to the free throw line as well. And if that 3-point shot comes around, which I thought was such a major swing skill coming out of the G League Ignite, this is going to look like one of the better picks from this draft. You could give it an A+, and I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm going to leave it at an A. It's an amazing pick by the Bulls front office. So we're going to have no grade for Nikola Topic at number 12 here. One of my favorite point guard prospects in this draft coming out of Mega Basket. I was so excited to watch him after not playing at all in his rookie year because of the ACL tear he suffered at the end of the Mega Basket season in 2024. We got to see him in Summer League and preseason. I was super excited to watch Topic this year, and then he has the cancer scare. He's undergoing chemo, and I hope to see him this year. You could not see more worse luck out of a player in their early NBA career, and I just hope he's on the court soon because I'm so excited to watch him at the NBA level. Coming in at number 13, we had one of my favorite prospects in this draft that could really help out a contending team. He did not go to a contending team. He goes to the Sacramento Kings at 13, Devin Carter. He's got to join the F club, unfortunately, and I still think Carter could be a good player in this league. I just don't think it's going to happen in Sacramento whatsoever. So Carter was just an elite rebounder at Providence in the 2024 season as a junior. He averages roughly 9 rebounds a night as a guard, 3.5 assists, 20 points, shoots 37% from 3 for the Friars in 2024 in the Big East, and Sacramento just doesn't utilize him properly whatsoever. They also have like 8 guards on their roster with Russ and Monk and Schroeder and Ellis, and they also had De'Aaron Fox when they drafted him as well. And Carter had a noticeable shoulder injury where he had to undergo surgery going into his rookie year, so he comes back in like the winter part of 2025 in the new year, and this is just a dysfunctional environment. Mike Brown gets fired. De'Aaron Fox requests a trade and gets traded. He gets thrown out there on a bad shoulder, and he doesn't shoot well, which makes sense, but he shoots well in the summer league and preseason. I get excited about him, and Doug Christie does not play him. I know Russ is better, but you guys are one of the worst teams in the NBA this year. You're almost 20 games under 500, and you're going to play somebody that's almost 40 years old over your lottery pick from the 2024 draft. About a year and a half ago, you're not even playing this guy in the rotation that much. It's not his fault this is an F, but based off the production, I have to give it an F. It just frustrates me so much. And then here at 14, we have Bub Carrington to the Washington Wizards, a point guard out of Pittsburgh. He kind of switched positions when he went to Pittsburgh. He's from the DMV area, so it was super cool that he ended up as a Washington Wizard. Now, when you factor in that they traded away Denny Avdia for this pick, it makes it look a little bit worse. I'm not going to factor that into the production so far from Bub, but yeah, I'm going to give this one a B so far. Bub got off to a slower start here in year number 2, but has really come around as of late for the Washington Wizards. He's shooting 42% from 3 on the year. He's averaging about 9 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. I don't think Bub is going to be like a high-level starting point guard or starting shooting guard in this league at his peak, but I do think he could be like that Colin Sexton type guard coming off the bench, give you valuable scoring in a 6th or 7th man role, which you definitely take for somebody at the 14th overall pick. That's 6'4", but feels like he's a little bit smaller out there as well. I think Carrington is a good guard to have in Washington throughout their rebuild, which I hope ends very soon. By the time you guys see this video, maybe they have Trae Young, maybe he's an Atlanta Hawk, who knows? But yeah, I think Bub has been a B so far, which could definitely go up as he continues to hopefully improve around the rim. So coming in at 15, I have Kel'el Ware to the Miami Heat. I did not really get this pick when it happened because they had Bam Adebayo. I thought they had some other needs as well, but no, this pick looks great. I'm giving it an A. You can make an argument it's an A+ as well, but if I didn't give Sarr an A+, I don't want to give Kel'el Ware an A+, even though this looks a little bit more impressive given that you took him 15th overall. There were some motor issues coming out of Indiana and Oregon for Kel'el Ware, but he goes to that Heat culture system under Coach Spo, and it feels like it was the right spot for him. 12 points, 10 rebounds this year, 1.3 blocks for the Miami Heat. He's shooting 43% from 3. He's got to teach Bam Adebayo how to shoot the 3-point ball because Bam definitely needs it, because since Bam has started to take threes, it's not really gone his way whatsoever. Ware shooting 55% from the field, 81% from the free throw line. He had to deal with the whole Jimmy Butler fiasco last year as well, which is not great for a rookie. He's 21 years old. He's a 7-foot big man that could block shots and knock down threes. I gotta give that an A. This feels weird to give this one a B given how much of an electric rookie season he had, but he had a noticeable injury last year, a noticeable injury this year. Jared McCain of the Philadelphia 76ers is going to get a B. He probably had an A+ rookie season, but it's been like a D+ year number 2, and it's one, I think Nick Nurse not really utilizing him properly. The minutes have been way too sparse for Jared McCain, and they added BJ Edgecombe. You have Quentin Grimes as well, so you have plenty of guards, and obviously Tyrese Maxey and Paul George there in Philadelphia, but he averaged 15 points per game last year, which we all knew that was going to go down given that he was like the #1 option at times. He's averaging 6.9 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, shooting 35% from the field, 32% from 3. He's not even getting to the free throw line about a time a night either. And he's doing this about 19 minutes per game as well. McCain has not really been efficient, or that player that we saw last year when he got inserted into the starting lineup for Philadelphia. Kind of took the league by storm for a little bit as well, and definitely looked like one of the best rookies last year. And if he kind of showed what he did last year in that 20-game sample size over the course of the rest of the season, he was going to walk away with that Rookie of the Year almost unanimously. But yeah, I would say year number 2 has not gone to plan so far for Jared McCain, so it's like an A+ rookie season. Like I said, D+ sophomore season. I'm going to give it a B. Now we have Dalton Knecht, who went 17th overall to the LA Lakers. Based off his production so far, I'm going to give this one a C-. Hey, there was a stretch in like November last year where we thought this pick was going to be an A. I like this pick coming out of Tennessee. I didn't think he was going to have the highest ceiling out of some of these guys in this draft because of his age and kind of where he was at his professional development coming out of Tennessee. He's already 24 years old, but I just feel like the defense has not been good whatsoever. I don't know if JJ Redick was the right or wrong coach for him, but it does feel like he has not really found that stride in Los Angeles. It may have hurt a ton when he got traded last year to the Charlotte Hornets, and then the trade gets rescinded, so he's like going back to a team that doesn't even want him really, and he's averaging 5.5 points, about a rebound and a half a night, shooting 45% from the field, 35% from 3, but has just been in and out of the rotation this year for the LA Lakers, and they kind of just need him to be a good 3-point shooter out there. I have no idea if he's going to be on this team in a year from now. I just think the defense has been really bad. It's not really been that consistent offensively at times. I'm going to give it a C-. That could be harsh. At 18, the Orlando Magic selected Tristan DeSello Silva. And I'm going to give this one a B. I think De Silva, like Dalton Connect, maybe has a limited ceiling compared to some of the other wings that were selected in this class, like a Matas Buzelis or a Ron Holland or a Zachary Reese-Sachet, but he's been objectively a good role player for the Orlando Magic so far. Last year, 7 points. This year, 9.5 points. He's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none guy. He's not elite at any one specific skill, but he has at least a high floor, maybe every other skill. Like, he's a fine enough three-point shooter. He's actually shooting 38% from three this year. He's shooting about 50% on twos. He's averaging about 3.5 rebounds, assists a night. He can play fine defense. He's maybe not as aggressive or maybe not as fluid around the rim that you would like for a 6'8" small forward that's 24 years old, but I think objectively he's been a good rotational player for the Magic so far. That's why I'm giving it a B. At number 19, you had the Toronto Raptors take a high upside swing on Jacoby Walter, the guard coming out of Baylor. I'm going to give this one a C so far as well. I think Walter, you were projecting a little bit more long-term than somebody like Dalton Connect. Jacoby Walter was just a freshman coming out of Baylor, so he's still 21 years old right now. He's had some good moments this year in spurts for the Toronto Raptors. He's shooting 36% from three. I think he's made some nice plays in transition as well. He's just kind of had inconsistent playing time throughout the start of his career, but over the last few weeks, he's been more involved in Darko Rajakovic's rotation. Jalen Tyson went 20th overall to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm giving this one an A-. I was a big Jalen Tyson fan coming out of Cal. He spent some time at Texas and Texas Tech as well, and Cleveland, with their second apron restrictions, absolutely had a hit on this pick, and Jalen Tyson has looked like a great rotational player this year for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's shooting 51% from the field, 44% from three, 73% from the free throw line, averaging 13 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 2 assists. But you got to watch the Jalen Tyson defensive tape because he is so physically imposing out there. He can guard guys on the perimeter, he can guard guys in the post, and is just a perfect cheap wing for the Cleveland Cavaliers moving forward. $3.4 million this year, $3.6 million next year, $5.6 million in 2028. These are the draft picks you need to hit on to avoid the second apron restrictions. At number 21, we had another Baylor Bear. He goes to New Orleans by the name of Yves Missi. The big man has played a lot less in year number 2 compared to year number 1 because they drafted another center in the 2025 draft in Derek Queen. They also signed Kevon Looney last year. At times, Yves Missi was like the only healthy big man on that roster with like Daniel Tice at a moment, Jeremiah Robinson Earl. It was very thin last year in New Orleans. I would say this year though, it's been kind of like a C- D+ production year from Yves Missi. Last year was like a B-, B, maybe a B+. So I'm going to leave this at a C+ for now. Missi is very one-dimensional. He's a rim-running athletic big that can catch alley-oops and kind of be all over the place down low. He's never going to create his own shot. He's not really a good passer. He's not the most imposing shot blocker in the world, but can definitely block a shot or two. I'm going to leave this one at a C+. I just wonder, with his archetype, is New Orleans going to continue to invest into somebody like him going forward? At number 22, we had Deron Holmes go to the Denver Nuggets. They actually traded up with the Phoenix Suns to select the Dayton big man. Now, unfortunately, Deron Holmes tore his Achilles in Summer League before he even made his NBA debut, so he didn't play a single minute in the 2025 season. He looked really good in the Summer League this year, but wasn't going to ever crack the Nuggets rotation with Nikola Jokic and Jonas Valanciunas, and at least Zeke Naji ahead of him for now. But now with all the injuries in Denver, Holmes has been playing a little bit more as of late. He's appeared in around 7 games, shooting 42% from 3, 45% from the field, averaging around 4 points. I'm just going to leave this at an incomplete because he's only played 7 games in his career, so I think it would be unfair to put any type of grade on his production so far, but I'm really excited to keep watching him over the next few weeks until they get Jokic and Valanciunas back. I mean, you never really expect anything out of a late first-round pick. If you can get some type of rotational value, you hit on that pick. Now, when the Milwaukee Bucks selected AJ Johnson out of the NBL, I just questioned it so much because watching him average like 2 points per game at Awara in the 2024 season, I'm like, this guy feels like a project, like a heavy project at the NBA level. I got to see him up close in person at the Combine where he made some nice plays. He was a top high school recruit as well, the 42nd ranked recruit in that 2023 recruiting class, but Milwaukee needed guys to help them right now. And I'm going to list off a bunch of guys after AJ Johnson that could help out Milwaukee, try to keep Giannis happy. They didn't do that. They actually traded away AJ Johnson to the Washington Wizards in his rookie season. One of 2 players from this class to get traded so far. I'm going to give this one a D. I think it's unfair to give somebody that went 23rd overall an F grade because you don't really have that much expectations going into your NBA career when you're drafted this low. He did look solid and athletic, bouncy in about 22 games with the Wizards after the trade deadline last year, but he struggled to crack the rotation this year consistently for one of the worst teams in the NBA. I'm not sure if Johnson's going to have a long-term role in Washington. Maybe he's going to be a G League guy here and there. I can't give it anything higher than a D. I still don't know why Milwaukee made this pick. My New York Knicks. They had a great wing right here available, but they decided to trade down with the Washington Wizards, who trade up to select Keyshawn George out of Miami. This one's getting an A. Keyshawn George, I thought, was this 3-and-D prospect coming out of Miami that was going to look a lot better on the second half of this rookie contract than the first half, but he's been amazing in year number 2. He's been a top 5 guy from this draft class this year. He shot 37% from the field last year. That's up to 47% from the field this year. 32% from 3 last year, up to 40% from 3 this year on about 5 attempts a night. He's averaging about 15 points, 5 assists, and 5.5 rebounds. The 5 assists and the playmaking ability and the vision is what I'm most impressed about from Keyshawn George. And he's still just 22 years old. For the 24th pick, he looks so good as a 3-and-D playmaking wing, which are so valuable in today's day and age. I'm so excited to watch Keyshawn George play with Trae Young. Now, it's funny because the first half of this video, I recorded it without knowing Trae Young got traded, and now I'm recording the second half knowing Trae Young got traded, so he's going to be playing with Bub and Keyshawn and Alex Sarr going forward. I'm just excited to watch those hoops in DC. You know, remember when I said that you shouldn't really expect anything out of a late first round pick, so I don't want to give it an F? Well, I lied. I'm going to give Bakome to the Knicks an F here at 25. Why did they make this pick? I don't know. There were so many other proven college players on the board, and the Knicks wanted to be cheap here. They wanted Bakome to stay overseas so they would save money against the first and second apron in the 2024 offseason, which was very pivotal for them because Isaiah Hartenstein was a free agent. They traded for Mikal Bridges. OG Anunoby was a free agent. They eventually traded for Karl Anthony Towns. It was a very eventful offseason, but there were so many other guys the Knicks could have taken, and Bakome is never going to crack this rotation. Kevin McCullough, Trey Jemison, Ariel Hook-Porty, Tyler Kolek, all these guys are playing way more notable minutes than Bakome, and I don't even know if he's going to get his 4th-year option picked up this offseason. He's averaging about 1.2 points in 31 career games, having like 3 games in his career not be just garbage time minutes when he's out there. It's just a terrible pick, and I don't think it's going to age particularly well. But I will say that the pick later was maybe a little bit worse, and I'm going to give this one an F as well. So he joins AJ Johnson as the only players from this class to get traded so far, and that's Dylan Jones, who came out of Weber State. Dylan Jones was selected by the Oklahoma City Thunder, who traded about 5 second-round picks to the New York Knicks to go up and make this selection. He appears in about 54 games as a rookie, 38% from the field, 25% from 3, and averages 2.5 points. Now, he does get a ring, which some of these guys may never say that they can get in their careers, but then the Oklahoma City Thunder traded him to the Washington Wizards in the 2025 offseason. They also had to attach a second rounder to Washington for this deal to go through. Washington waived him ahead of the 2026 NBA season, and he's currently on the Portland Trail Blazers G League roster. But yeah, for Sam Presti, this one is a blemish on his resume. I don't know if this is harsh here to Terrence Shannon Jr. at number 27, but I'm going to give this one a C-. A lot of people thought Shannon Jr., after what he did in Game 3 against OKC in the conference finals, was going to be a breakout player this year for Minnesota, but that has not been the case whatsoever. He's averaging around 4.5 points, shooting 39% from the field. He's been in and out of the rotation this year. Jalen Clark has looked a little bit better than Terrence Shannon Jr. at times. He's dealt with a foot issue this year as well. And on the bad side, he's also 25 years old. He was a very old player coming out of college, spent some years at Texas Tech and at Illinois, and I'm not sure if he's going to be on the Timberwolves team after the deadline this year. At number 28, the Phoenix Suns traded down here with the Denver Nuggets, who went up and got De'Ron Holmes, and Phoenix selected maybe the best defender in this class, Ryan Dunn out of Virginia. I wanted my Knicks to take Ryan Dunn at 24, 25. They didn't do that, and Ryan Dunn has been a very good player that's gone 28th overall in the draft. I'm going to give this one actually an A- because I think the defense has been as advertised. He fits this Jordan Ott system so well, and is just a perfect Phoenix Sun. Now, I don't know if I'll ever give it anything higher than this, because I do think he has a limitation on his shooting. Shot 31% from 3 last year, 30% from 3 this year, and honestly, that's a lot better than what I thought it could happen going into the league, given that he ended up shooting 20% from 3 at Virginia in the 2024 season. But this is a phenomenal pick by the Suns' old front office. And we have back-to-back A-minuses. Isaiah Collier, a top 15 player for me in this class, went 29 to the Utah Jazz. I love this pick when it happened. I thought he should have went about 10 to 15 spots higher, and he's been a very productive point guard ever since getting drafted. Last year, he played about 26 minutes a night for Utah, shot 42% from the field, struggled with his three-point shot, but was arguably the best passer in this class so far. He averaged 6 assists, for the Jazz last year. This year, he's averaging 8.5 points, 6.5 assists, shooting 36% from 3, 51% from the field, 68% from the free throw line. He actually gets to the line about 3 times a night. If he could hit his free throws, this guy could average close to a double-double one day, in my opinion. I'm not sure if he's ever going to be the long-term point guard for this team going forward. Is Keontae the 1? Is Keontae the 2? Is Collier always going to be a backup at one point? He's only started 2 out of his 27 games this year. Either way, this is a great pick by Utah. And then at number 30, the Boston Celtics took an older player coming out of Creighton, Baylor Shireman. I'm actually going to give this pick a D so far. Baylor Shireman never really played consistent minutes in his rookie season. A lot of garbage time, but he didn't knock down his threes whatsoever. Shot 31% from 3 when he was a 3-point specialist coming out of Creighton. This year, he's also been in and out of the rotation a little bit. A lot of garbage time as well, but he has at least shot 42% from 3 in those minutes. Like Terrence Jr., it's a little bit scary because he's already 25 years old. Hugo Gonzalez looks a lot better. Jordan Walsh, Josh Minot, these other wings in Boston coming off the bench are playing over Shireman, and I'm not sure if he's ever going to be a mainstay in the rotation under Joe Mazzulla. So those are my grades for the first round here in the 2024 NBA draft. I do want to shout out some second rounders that have definitely been productive so far in their careers. 32nd overall, the Utah Jazz selected Kyle Filipowski. 34th overall, the New York Knicks selected Tower Kolek. 35th was Johnny Furphy to the Indiana Pacers. 38 was AJ Mitchell to the Oklahoma City Thunder, arguably a top 10 player in this class right now, maybe a top 5 player. Jalen Wells, 1 pick later, 39 to the Grizzlies. Oso Ighodaro, 1 pick later to the Suns at 40. Adem Bona, 41 to the 76ers. At 44, the Miami Heat selected Pele Larson, one of the better role players in this class. Jamal Shed was 1 pick later to the Toronto Raptors at 45. And then shout out to Quinton Post, 52 to the Golden State Warriors. Cam Spencer, 53 to the Detroit Pistons. And that wraps out a solid 2024 draft, a 2024 draft that's kind of all over the place. Let me know what you agree or disagree with from my grades here today. And if you do enjoy these, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already. Catch you on the next one. Peace.